Good morning and welcome to Abundant Living Ministries CyberChurch.
Howdy.
We don't have any announcements.
Nope. And that's the only announcement that's necessary. We don't need announcements.
You're a party pooper.
Actually, somebody else said that to me today, and I didn't have time to respond, but I was thinking that there are probably party poopers, but personally, I do that solo.
Okay,
you
Benjamin.
Know, like
Benjamin,
in the
I got
restroom
it.
by myself.
Yes, Benjamin, I know. I didn't. I got it, but it wasn't that funny.
Well, it was funny in my head.
It usually happens that way.
Yes. Anywho, let's go ahead and just play some music for about 60 seconds, and it will give you the opportunity, if you'd like to help us cover the costs here, you can do so. And
should I tell them how?
Yes, you probably should, even though they probably already know, but we like to make sure.
Are the cauldrons there anymore, or did you take them away?
Well, look around you and you'll see here in Second Life that I don't know what to put there in place of them. We'll figure out something. Let's just say they're big pots of boiling green stuff. And you can put more green stuff in there if you like, and we'd appreciate it.
There's donation thingamabobbers at the door and by the podium in Second Life. If you're not in Second Life, you go to almcyberchurch.org and click on the donation thingamabobbers there, and you can help us out with the cost of running in Second Life. The end. Okay.
Okay, take a moment now to click the pulpit on the stage. You'll get a note card. It has song lyrics and a bunch of notes. Lots of notes. Anywho, and let's sing some songs that we've been singing over and over, and Media Posa still is not singing in them, but you can just imagine what it would sound like if she were singing in them.
Only if you've heard me sing.
Yes, and you can imagine how it were if I fixed all the little mistakes and the bad notes that I hit.
I have a feeling most people probably don't really know about the mistakes.
Yes, but the ones that do, if it bugs you like it bugs me, it drives you absolutely insane. That's why I'm insane. Okay.
If you say so.
Yeah, I
do.
did. Okay, let's sing.
Something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Oh, love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny. Hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor. something if you give it away. Give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Oh, love is something if you give it away. Give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Money's dandy and we need to use it, but love is priceless if you don't refuse it. It's a treasure and you'll never lose it unless you lock up your door. What would you do that for? For love is something if you give it away. Give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Love is something if you give it away. Give it away, give it away. Oh, love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Love is something if you give it away. Give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny. Hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor. Love is something if you give it away. Give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you'll end up having more. Yeah, love is something if you give it away. Give it away, give it away. Oh, love is something if you give it away, you'll end up having more. You'll end up having more. Oh, you'll end up having more. Oh, yes, you will end up having more. Give it away, so just give it away. Give that love away. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Damaging words and uninformed assertions have no place in my mind today. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting borrow. I will reach out with love, here with true understanding. Make this world just a little bit better. Today, day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Damaging words and uninformed assertions have no place in my mind today. Damaging words and uninformed assertions have no place in my mind today. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better now.
Well, if you're not already seated, you can be seated. Today, I'd like for us to visit a field of study that I personally find fascinating. Now, I'm sure you've heard males claim in resignation that there is no point in their even trying to understand women. But the human mind, regardless of sex or gender, is so complex that if you think you substantially understand any person's mind, including your own, you're probably fooling yourself. Now, that being said, we can learn more about how the mind works, including its numerous flaws. And in seeing the ways in which we frequently get things wrong, we can hopefully come to understand reality just a little bit better. Today, I'd like to talk about a particular cognitive bias. And just in case you're not quite sure what that is, here's a definition. A cognitive bias is a systematic pattern of deviation from norm or rationality in judgment. Individuals create their own subjective social reality from their perception of the input. An individual's construction of social reality, not the objective input, may dictate their behavior in the social world. And if that definition isn't quite clear to you, here are a few headlines from a Google search. 10 cognitive biases that distort your thinking. The many cognitive biases that screw up everything we do. The cognitive biases that prevent us from doing great work. Put simply, cognitive biases are ways we all act irrationally. A cognitive bias is a systematic error in thinking, part of our brain's hardwiring, that causes us to act repeatedly in an irrational way. Now, most people are unaware of these subconscious biases. Learning about some of our biases can help us be fooled by them just a little bit less, and it can sharpen our perception of reality. And the cognitive bias I'd like for us to consider today is naive realism. In social psychology, naive realism is the human tendency to believe that we see the world around us objectively and that people who disagree with us must be uninformed, irrational, or biased. This bias is manifested when people believe they see the world objectively and without bias, expect that others will come to the same conclusion so long as they are exposed to the same information and interpret it in a rational manner, and assume that others who do not share the same views must be ignorant, irrational, or biased. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a bias we all share to one degree or another. Do you feel as though you see the world objectively? If you act as though you do, then you almost certainly share this bias. And if you don't think you act as though you do, you probably share this bias. Matthew D. Lieberman, professor of psychology at UCLA, wrote the following about naive realism, and the link to his article is in the note card. He writes, "The comedian George Carlin once noted that anyone driving slower than you is an idiot, and anyone going faster than you is a maniac. The obscure scientific term explaining why we see most people other than ourselves as unintelligent or crazy is naive realism. Although most people take their perceptions of the world at face value, this is a profound error that regularly causes virtually unresolvable conflicts between people. Imagine 3 drivers in Carlin's world: Larry, Mo, and Curly. Larry is driving 30 miles per hour, Mo is driving 50, and Curly is driving 70 miles per hour. Larry and Curly agree that Mo's driving was terrible, but are likely to come to blows over whether Mo is an idiot or a maniac. Meanwhile, Mo disagrees with both because it is obvious to him that Larry is an idiot, which Curly agrees with, and Curly is a maniac, which Larry agrees with. As in ordinary life, Larry, Mo, and Curly each fail to appreciate that their own understanding of the others is hopelessly tied to their own driving, rather than reflecting something objective about the other person. Naive realism occurs as an unfortunate side effect of an otherwise adaptive aspect of brain function. Our remarkably sophisticated perceptual system performs its countless computations so rapidly that we are unaware of all the special effects teams working in the background to construct our seamless experience. We see so much more than is in front of us, thanks to our brains automatically combining sensory input with our expectations and motivations. This is why a bicycle that is partially hidden by a wall is instantly seen as a normal bicycle without a moment's thought that it might be only a part of a bicycle. Now, because these constructive processes happen behind the scenes of our mind, we have no idea this is happening, and thus we mistake our perception for reality itself. When it comes to perceiving the physical world, we appear to mostly see things the same way. When confronted with trees, shoes, and gummy bears, our brains construct these things for us in similar enough ways that we can agree on which to climb, which to wear, and which to eat. But when we move to the social domain of understanding people and their interactions, our seeing is driven less by external input and more by expectation and motivation. He goes on to write, "Because our mental construction of the social world is just as invisible to us as our construction of the physical world, our idiosyncratic expectations and motivations are much more problematic in the social realm." In short, we are just as confident in our assessment of Donald Trump's temperament and Hillary Clinton's honesty as we are in our assessment of trees, shoes, and gummy bears. In both cases, we are quite certain that we are seeing reality for what it is. And this is the real problem. This isn't a heuristics and biases problem where our simplistic thinking can be corrected when we see the correct solution. This is about seeing reality. If I am seeing reality for what it is and you see it differently, then one of us has a broken reality detector, and I know mine isn't broken. If you can't see reality as it is, or worse yet, can see it but refuse to acknowledge it, then you must be crazy, stupid, biased, lazy, or deceitful. In the absence of a thorough appreciation for how our brain ensures that we will end up as naive realists, we can't help seeing complex social events differently from one another, with each of us denigrating the other for failing to see what is so obviously true. And the writer concludes, although there are real differences that separate groups of people, naive realism might be the most pernicious, undetected source of conflicts and their tendency to last. Okay. Well, there's a lot to unpack there, but to make a long story short, I think we would all do well to remember that no matter how clear an issue seems to us, we're seeing that issue through a complex web of mental twists and turns, just like the person with whom we vehemently disagree. I'd like to end this short message by quoting a few excerpts from another article titled Naive Realism, Our Misinterpretation of How We Interpret the World. And of course, the link to this article is also in the note card. And the author writes, we have an innate desire for our worldview to be the correct one. This motivation is further exacerbated by our overconfidence in ourselves. We enter arguments thinking we are correct, but in reality, we have subconscious biases that may lead us to not being as accurate as we think we are. Since naive realism is the default reaction, there's not much you can change about your immediate view. However, your interpretations and expressions of your views are malleable. Overcoming this bias allows you to perceive situations and opinions in a different light, and most importantly, it leads you to the path of increasing your feelings of empathy. Empathy is the awareness and understanding of another person's thoughts and experiences. By putting yourself in someone else's shoes, you are able to vicariously experience what he or she sees. So, the next time you think someone else's opinion is wrong, put yourself in their shoes. Try to understand their thought process. Be empathetic. And in doing so, you will come just a little closer to overcoming the irrational bias of naive realism. All right, well, that was short and maybe a little bit hard to grasp, but of course you can go back and re-listen to it. And I also encourage you to visit the links in the note card or on YouTube. They'll be in the video description, and read the entire articles and just let it sink in. I think understanding this will help any of us to see things just a little more clearly and to understand other people's points of view. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up the service. And if you'd like to talk to somebody about anything, you have any issues you're facing that you'd like a little feedback with, or you just want a listening ear about a problem you're experiencing, you're invited to either instant message one of us in Second Life, or if you're listening later or outside of Second Life, you can go to almcyberchurch.org and click the Director's Offices link, and you can contact us that way. And here in just a few seconds, we're gonna leave here and go over to the garden that's across from the church out front, and you're all invited to meet with us there. And of course, if you're not in Second Life and you'd like to have that experience with us, Go to almcyberchurch.org, click Enter the Virtual World, and there are full instructions for how to get in this virtual world for free. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I hope you recognize and start to overcome a little bit of your naive realism.